Okie dokie, okie dokie, okie dokie, dokie. What next? Hi! We're going to do some eye makeup, and I'm going to use bareMinerals products because I think they're great, and I think that you don't hear enough about them, but I think they can be a little scary. So we're going to talk about it. I'm going to walk you through it. It's a pretty simple eye makeup look, but I think it's a nice cool tone for summer eye makeup look. Do you like how it ends up? Do you want to know more? Yes, the answer is yes. And that's what there is to say. If you want to hear more about the rest of my makeup, there's more videos to watch. You should watch them, and they're great. But we're here right now for eye makeup. And so I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to magically go back in the time and not have this makeup on and instead put it on. And then we're going to come together again at the end and talk about it happily. And it's going to be great, and you should totally keep watching. So here we go. Zooming in. Goodbye. All right, we are going to put on some eye makeup. I am starting with their primer, the Prime Time Primer. I think this was the first eyelid primer that I ever used, and I still think it's really good. You know, it's like a squeezy tube. The texture is kind of moussey, kind of like faintly like a fair kind of color. But I don't think the color is very intense. I was just putting it on with my fingers. I have put on like no makeup, and I'm regretting that now. I'm like, I should have done my eyebrows and stuff first, but I didn't. And this is real. This is just so real. Now that we're primed, let's just put down like a nude color. And I think I want to use up this Nude Beach matte shade that I have, which I'm pretty sure is really old. And it's like bonkers empty. But I think it's a good nude matte. This brush I'm going to use is not bareMinerals. I do have some bareMinerals brushes to use though. One of the reasons I wanted to do this is I feel like there's a bit of a barrier to entry with their loose pigments. Like, I think it's a little intimidating. I found it a little intimidating at first, but I think once you get to use it and you get to know it, like, I think they're really great, and I really love them. So it's like, this is like a little, the size of the, like, kind of the pot, and you're just gonna like pour it into the lid and use the lid. So I'm just like, you know, putting my brush in the lid right now where I've already put some of the pigments, and this I'm just putting everywhere. Like, it definitely has the potential to be messy. Eventually the day is gonna come where you drop one or something happens or your cat comes over and just throws it, which happened once to a bad kitty. It was just, oh, I see you're using black eyeshadow. Knocked it right off. But it's not like it's constantly messy. I don't feel like I've got a lot of fallout issues even, which is kind of surprising because it's a loose pigment. But you have that cap to really work it into your brush before you're putting it on your eyes. And so I don't feel like I have huge fallout issues. Okay, that really didn't do much, but my goal there was just to put something down to make blending the shades that I'm about to use easier. And look, we were just there for the end of this. It's an empty eye, and this one wasn't one that like fell, like that got legit used. Goodbye. I think I'm gonna go in with the dark shade. I'm just gonna be putting it on like the outside of the eye. And I don't want to put too much because this isn't supposed to be like a really dark look. I'm using one of their little duos. This one is in Suspense and Awe. That's pretty cute. Suspense and Awe. What am I using? Suspense or Awe? Awe. Now this brush is one of their brushes. I do think their brushes are very nice. I don't know how much I would just go out and buy one at full price. I certainly don't think that's a stupid move. But they'll include brushes and little kits that they do and stuff. And I think that's how I've come by this brush and other brushes that I have. I really don't want too much because we're going to try to keep this light and summery, not too dark. Not too dark. So now I'm going to go into back to a loose pigment this time for Girl Crush. Because I think this color is really pretty and it's new to me and I like it. And so again, like I have the lid and so I can really like get my brush nicely rubbed in. I think that that makes, for me, and maybe for other people that aren't makeup artists, I feel like that makes applying it a lot like easier, that it blends better and everything. The way their sifters are too, they're pretty easy to use. Like this bit of shadow that I'm dipping into is just kind of sitting there on the lid from being moved around a little. I would try, if you don't want the tops of your product to get like too overloaded, if you don't want the sifter to be too overloaded, don't like try to keep the shadows in a way that they're not going to be tumbled around all the time. Like I've stored them in bags before. And I mean, it's fine, but you will have ones where you open up and you're like, that's a lot of product. And it kind of messes with the thing it's got going on. Some of their products have locking sifters, but not usually the eyeshadows I've found. Usually like bigger ones. I feel like bareMinerals puts out really great products. I think it's a really good brand. It was definitely one of the first makeup brands that I got into. I think that they don't get enough love maybe because it's kind of boring. But like ultimately that's not like this bad thing. It's boring because they're putting out consistently good products, and every time I kind of like stray away from it and then I go back to one, it's like, man, I've been working so hard messing with these products that don't work as well, and these just work better. And you go back to that original brush and just kind of blend it all out a little more. I was going to put on a little bit of a highlight. I'm not sure what this shade is. It's just kind of a highlighty shade. Just up here on the brow bones. Let's add a little bit of the dark shade into the lower lash line. So yeah, I wanted to show some of their pressed pigments, like the little palettes they do, and also the loose pigments. I think both are worth it if you're wondering. But let's put on a little more awe. Also, it's time to give the cool shades some love, right? So this is a cool shade look. It's all warms right now. Warms, warm, 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 warm. I think the cool shades can still work in the summer and be cool. Next, let's do mascara. So I'm gonna curl my lashes, which is boring and has nothing to do with bareMinerals, but it's gotta be done. So the mascara I'm using is their Flawless Definition Waterproof Mascara. And kind of like I was saying before, where it's like I feel like they get ignored because their products are good but maybe boring. I think that's still true with the mascara. I think it's a really good, reliable mascara, but it's not like the most lengthening or the most volumizing or the clumpiest or whatever. It's just a good mascara. I use the waterproof because I usually use waterproof mascaras. I get very watery eyes. The wand is easy to manipulate. I think it's easy to use this wand. It's big, but it still really lets you get in there with the corner and get the little lashes. It's a very clean, usable wand. It's not the furry kind of lash wand. It's like the plasticky kind of bristles. So it's quite easy to control. What do we think? Done futzing with that eye for a little bit for now. I think that lots of people would be very pleased with this as like an everyday mascara. Maybe it's not the biggest lashes they ever get from a mascara, but that you could like reliably, easily put it on. It works for the lower and the upper lashes, and it's good. It's good. Let's curl the other eyelashes. What do we think? That's one eye. I've always been, I think I'm a bit off. I'm always a little more intrigued by my eyeshadow singles than palettes. I know that's nuts, but it's true. There, nice mascara, right? He's nice, he's good, he's doing his job, being mascara. So there we have mascara and everything. I think it's time to move on to some liner. I'm going to use this round the clock eyeliner. And they're named for times. Isn't that funny? This one's 4 p.m. It's purple. I am going to tightline first. I like to tightline after I put on my mascara because for me, I feel like putting on my mascara messes up my tightline. I think these pens do work really nice straight into the waterline like this. They're soft and yet they don't run or smudge. It comes off really cleanly. I think they're really nice eyeliners. This is a very like not black purple, as in like it's a very dark purple that will pass for black. What do you think? And I'm gonna partially do the bottom rim. Okay, so that was fast lining. I like that liner. I want to put a little bit of that awe powder onto the liner. Just a little bit of powder, like just doing a little. Keep the brush pretty light with powder. I do it to try to keep the eyeliner in place. And I'm using this awe because it's more similar. It's kind of similar to that shade of the purple liner. I'm just bringing it back. And I think one last one I want to do. This has been like I've used for a long time. This is their shadow in Minx, which is a black shadow. It's got a little bit of shimmer to it, but I love it for lining. I usually will, when I'm just lining in black, this is what I'll use. And I'm going to use a little bit of it. I didn't do any liner like, you know, above up there. And I'm going to use a little bit of this powder. So see, I can just put it in the lid and just kind of push my brush around. And then it's not, it's like, it's a good way to do it. It's just try it. You'll like it. And this, I think, is part of why I can like the singles, is that it's like, here, I found a black shadow that really works for me. And so instead of getting one out of every single palette and being like, oh no, I like the black from that palette and I like the brown from this palette, it's like, I don't know. I love a good singles, and I really love the bareMinerals ones. Of course, they last for a really long time. I think the powder liner is good here. I just didn't want it to be too harsh, but I wanted a little more lining. So see, I've got it on not this eye. This eye's not lined. And this eye that I can't blink, that's the one that's lined. Like this is, anytime I use a powder, like a black from any palette or anything, I always miss this one. It's just my favorite. The shimmery bits, you really don't even see and notice, but I still feel like they're really important. So there we have it. Eyes, 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 eyes. I'm gonna finish up the rest of my makeup, which I am gonna put in another video, and you should check that video out. I'm sure it'll be great. And then we're gonna come back and I'm gonna say goodbye. But for now, just a little goodbye and then the big goodbye. Bye. So yay, we're all done. What do we think? Yay, makeup's on. It's done makeup time. So that was the eye look. I'm pleased with how it came out. I know it's not, I feel like my eye looks are not the most dramatic, but I'm trying to make stuff that people are actually gonna wear. I'm not a makeup artist. I'm not here to show you the artistry side of makeup. I'm just like wearing it, just like you. We're just getting together, just you and me, just wearing makeup, just living, just meeting here to talk about it, putting it on our eyes, saying how much we like it, making us all a little less scared of loose pigments together. I think they're very pretty. I think they wear really nicely. I would totally recommend them. I think that the bareMinerals stuff is great. It's reliable. It's very lovely. And yeah, it's all good. It's all good. Goodbye. Bye.